Honda and Acura have a long history with racing, with of course the Civic Type R and the Acura Integra. Today we're taking a look at the ultimate Integra performance vehicle. This is the Integra Type S HRC concept. A lot of what we see here is likely to make its way into the Acura parts catalog in the future, if not a standalone high-performance trim of the Integra Type S. Today, let's take a look at why you might want to get some of those parts from the catalog in the future, or why you might want to splurge on the ultimate Integra, especially if you really plan on tracking yours. Probably the best thing for me to do is just grab the camera and take you for a look around this new HRC concept. And keep in mind, again, this is somewhere between a concept and a prototype, so we don't have a lot of complete specifications yet. For instance, Acura says that the engine produces more power. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to take a look under the hood, and we don't know exactly how much more power this produces than the regular 2-liter turbo. But we probably get a healthy bump because we get a new intercooler. You can actually see that HRC intercooler right there under that grille. That has been lifted directly from the race car that's based on the Integra. And a lot of what we see here has actually been borrowed from that race car Integra. We also get updated cooling with oil coolers on each side of that new lower splitter. And you can see that lower splitter is definitely very, very aggressive in terms of its design. I really hope that at least the body kit comes to the Integra at some point in the future. We get a slightly updated grille, mostly with that Honda Racing badge right there on the side. Yep, Honda Racing, not Acura Racing. They've decided to keep the naming consistent across their brands. To help reduce weight, we also get a carbon fiber hood with carbon fiber inserts for extra cooling. And everything that you see around the vehicle is fully functional, including these air vents to help release pressure and improve cooling under the hood. Also, of course, the side skirts around the vehicle, the front air ducts, etc. Everything is fully functional. Up front, of course, we get upgraded brakes. No race car would be complete without that. So we find 15-inch rotors, basically the biggest brakes they could jam in a 19-inch wheel. And speaking of wheels, these are a new forged HRC wheel design wrapped in 265 30ZR19s. And these are Pirelli P0 Trofeo tires. These are pretty sticky. This is basically as close as you can get to a track tire and still be street legal. Logically, the brakes in the back are smaller than the ones up front. Single piston back here, 6 piston up front, but we do get 2-piece rotors in the rear to help reduce weight. And again, weight reduction was really one of the missions with this model, which is why we don't find a back seat in the HRC version of the Integra. Instead, we get a carbon fiber molded panel there for storage. They said they wanted to be sure that you could fit tires in here. So if you don't want to take your Integra to the track, you probably want to have a street set of tires and a track set of tires. This enables that to happen. And then lots of carbon fiber back here, including the backs of these Recaro seats. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. And the door panels as well. All of that's to reduce weight. Out back, we have a carbon fiber wing. This is fully adjustable and, of course, fully functional as well, as with all the other aero elements on the vehicle. One really cool touch, the body color inserts on the side of the spoiler that really help tie things together and give it more of a factory look. The adjustable tilt of this is so that way you can really dial in the aerodynamics of the vehicle. And customization was really in the forefront of the designers' minds with this particular concept. And it applies to not just the aero elements of the vehicle, but also the suspension, because the rear coilover and front coilover suspension has been completely re-engineered from this vehicle, borrowing a lot of the parts and themes from the Integra race car. So if you want to be able to dial in things like the caster in your vehicle, so you really want that squatted look, or of course better track performance, you can actually really see the angle of that front wheel right there, then that is fully adjustable. And what's nice about it is that it all mounts to the same mounting points as the stock suspension in the vehicle. So again, a lot of these components are likely going to come to the parts catalog, so you can get as much or as little of this in your Integra as you'd like. In the back, we get the distinctive 3 exhaust tip setup, but of course a unique exhaust. This has a cat-back exhaust system by HRC. But Acura decided not to remove some of the functional features that we find in the Integra, like the rear parking sensors. That's really a nice touch. And I like the way that the lower skirt here really integrates well with the theme in the vehicle all the way around. Going back inside, you can see the cross bracing back here in the rear where the rear seats used to be, of course HRC branded as well. That's there to help improve structural rigidity in the vehicle, but of course also give you a place where you can mount the 5-point harnesses, because the front seats we're going to take a look at in just a moment are 5-point harness compatible right from the factory. So these are not just for show, these are actually fully functional. Let's move to the front of the seats now. As you can see, we have that Honda Racing logo there, the Recaro logo, of course, because again, these are Recaro carbon fiber seats. And you can see all of the carbon fiber elements right there between the individual pads. These seats are actually a little bit more comfortable than I had expected, given the limited amount of time that I've been able to sit in them, of course. We get yellow shoulder belts there. That kind of gives me a little bit of a Polestar vibe, actually, if I'm honest. And then down here at the bottom of the seat, we have individual thigh cushions. I like the fact that you can probably adjust elements of this seat, especially the cushions, a little bit more easily than your typical race seat that's not a carbon fiber unit like this. And of course, again, this is fully 5-point harness capable right from the factory. The rest of the interior changes are mainly just to bring some of those yellow elements throughout the cabin. So we have Alcantara inserts on the doors, Alcantara armrests, the yellow stitching there, and then of course yellow accents on the dashboard around the air vents. We have carbon fiber trim over here on the dashboard. I'm not sure if this is real or imitation carbon fiber at the moment, but I do like the gold accents around the air vents. That's something I really hope makes its way to production. Also, the yellow accents on this Alcantara steering wheel are really nicely done. The wheel itself, that's basically the same wheel that we've found in the Integra for a while, and it looks like we're going to get the same LCD instrument cluster and same infotainment system in the dashboard. There may be software changes on both of those units, but we don't have any details at the moment. Down here, of course, we have the 6-speed manual shifter, because there's not going to be any sort of dual clutch transmission offered, at least for the moment, in the Integra Type S. I would love to see a dual clutch transmission for slightly greater availability, although I would certainly choose the manual transmission if I were going to buy one of these myself. Now, speaking of buying one, Acura has not commented on pricing or availability yet, or whether or not this will come as a package deal, as you see here, or just as parts in a parts catalog, or perhaps both. I would really love to see both, because not only could you get your performance Acura as Acura intended, right like this, but you could also create your own adventure by just sampling as many of the parts from that parts catalog as you wanted. I also love the fact that Honda and Acura are doing this as the Integra, rather than trying to dial up some other version of another vehicle in the lineup, because the price tag makes a little bit more sense for me as an Integra than as a Civic. The Civic Type R is getting kind of expensive. Of course, the Integra Type S is not really any less expensive, but I think that price tag is just a bit more appropriate for a vehicle with an Acura logo on it, and I've always preferred the look of the Integra over the Civic Type R. Let me know what you think about all that down there in the comment section below, and again, what components from this vehicle would you love to see on your Integra next?